That's right back, Charlie. Definitely.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, bro. Come on.
There's always just that active red flag defending. I think it's like there's always just that active red flag defending. I think it's like there's always just that active red flag defending. I think it's like
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, bro. Come on.
Oh, I was muted. People deluded, I'm back again. First things first, I hope everyone's doing well and safe. I hope everyone and their loved ones are in good spirits. Happy Friday as usual, people. I hope this week has been blessed for you in terms of health, for you and your loved ones, where your goals, hopes, dreams, ambitions, whatever your heart desires, I hope you lot have made some progress and this week's been kind to you. If not, we go again. If you're on YouTube, smash the like button. Twitch ones, one love, people. And we might as well start with the first thing, innit? Before we talk about football and Arsenal, PSV, and talking points and display and that, some things are more important than football, and it's crap news, innit? As you probably saw emerging last night, Pablo Mari was stabbed in Italy. I think the guy's been apprehended, and unfortunately he stabbed 5 other people. Unfortunately, someone's lost their life, people. But where Pablo Mari is concerned, allegedly he's recovering in hospital, people. He was hurt. His agent has told us, which is Arsenal, he's hurt, but he's not seriously hurt. He's in hospital, people. So yeah, we hope him and everyone else who was a victim a speedy recovery, and we're wishing them the best in it. Some more emerging news, Italy stabbing, 1 dead, an Arsenal player, Pablo Mari, among several injured people. 1 person has died and at least 5 others have been injured, people, some seriously, in a stabbing in a supermarket near the Italian city of Milan, police have said. Local media have reported that a 30-year-old supermarket cashier died after a man started attacking people. It's crap news, man. No one deserves to die like this, much less, bro. A man's going to work, trying to feed his kids, look after his family, innit? A 47-year-old suspect has been detained. Police have ruled out any terrorist motive. Some reports are saying that he just grabbed a knife in the supermarket and just started poking people. Unfortunately, he's clearly struggling with mental health. Not that that's an excuse for any of this, people. It's quite crazy. Reports say the attacker has had mental health problems and had grabbed the weapon from the supermarket shelves. Now, I don't know what the supermarket is doing, but I know here in England, obviously, if he's taking it out of the box, fair enough. But I know there's no knives like pick and mix where you just grab it. So health and safety reasons. The man started stabbing people at random at around 6:30 local time, which was 4:30 English time. In this at Carrefour in a local shopping center. Screams were reportedly heard inside the center, people, as terrified visitors tried to flee in public. The attacker is reported to have been detained by several customers and handed over to police who arrived at the scene. Pablo Mari, the 29-year-old Spanish defender, suffered a stab wound to the back, but his injuries are not life-threatening, thank God. His agent has told the BBC that the star is conscious and no vital organs have been affected. Allegedly, he's gone under surgery as well, people. He had his son in the trolley and his wife next to him. He didn't notice anything. Then he felt something in his back, which was a criminal knife. So it's a chilling experience for Pablo Mari, for his young son, and obviously his wife, as well as everybody. Like, there's no words in it, really and truly. There's nothing you can say. There's no rationale around this. It's just effing shit, really and truly. Unfortunately, he also saw the criminal stab someone in the throat. He saw everything that happened, and it was deeply disturbing. So again, health is one thing, but I hope his mental health of everyone that had to go through that is okay, because these things can shape lives. Hopefully, in a good way, the little kid that his young son or daughter or whatever, hopefully they're not old enough to remember this, but again, in some part of our subconscious, that would be remembered. So again, that's something. The physical wounds can heal. That's going to be with them for life. And you know, anything can happen at any time, much less a supermarket, really and truly. So he's chilling, really. And, you know, again, he might not really want to be out there in public and things like that, man. But yeah, unfortunately, he saw that and the person's died. Apparently, while the executive said that the defender had suffered a fairly deep wound on his back, he said his life was not in danger and he would recover quickly, people. Arteta said, I just found out, I know Eddie. So yeah, big up Pablo Mari. He has said he's lucky, people. Today I was lucky because I saw someone die in front of me, which is madness. I'm not a hero. I didn't do anything special, says this 51-year-old people. Apparently, a former Napoli defender was among those who helped disarm the person, really. So it's crap news, really. You know, the president of Monza said Pablo is an amazing guy. He had the strength to joke and tell me that he'll be back in training on Monday. I brought him greetings from the club president and everyone else. His teammates wanted to come, but obviously it was not possible, people, which is absolutely crap. But it's nice that he's in good spirits as much as he can be. Apparently, he has undergone surgery, people, and the surgery went well, and a hospital stay of 2 to 3 days is expected. After he's obviously let go, he'll start the rehab. This type of muscle injury usually requires 2 months of rest before you can resume physical activity. So yeah, he's not able to, you know, life is the most important thing. You've got your life in it. Able to joke and stuff with people seeing him, but it's a more sadder story for other people involved. So yeah, man, and it's crap because Monza are trying to stay in the league. Evidently, he can't help them really and just do his job and feed his family, really. So yeah, unfortunately, that's where Pablo Mari is concerned, people. So it is what it is. Any talking points, feel no sort of way about getting them in. But yeah, Marie was stabbed, unfortunately. But fortunately, he's calm. And as usual, prayers to his family, man. Prayers to his family. And as you said here, stay vigilant. A seriously unhinged individual, scumbag, man. Stab a man in their back as well. Like, obviously, mental health is one thing. I don't know this individual, but well, should get fucked up, really, isn't it? Really, we doing really and truly, but it is what it is. Moving away from that, sell Nketiah to Bournemouth, Nottingham Forest, Wolves, Leeds. He's not good enough. DG, we could have bought Javi Simmons for the Vieira money. A bit harsh, you know. Shout out Javi Simmons. He's a quality player and his price is going up, and I'll take him. But I'm happy with Fabio Vieira, and I think he will do a lot better at Arsenal. I'm not saying he's going to be world class, be the best player in the world and stuff, but I think there's a lot more gears to go up, if I'm honest with you. What I will say though, and you know, going into my little segment on the game, even though we've offered my thoughts already extensively, check out my reviews on YouTube and that, people. For me, it showed things we already know, or I already know, and I've been saying, and people say I'm a Demi Downer, I'm negative and things, and it's not that I'm negative or positive. I pride myself on seeing what's in front of me. I know football's an emotional game, and I'm not saying be happy or optimistic for no reason. Neither am I saying be vexed for no reason, people. And things like that. But I've been saying this. I've been saying why I like Arsenal's form and stuff. There's many more tests to come. We are doing well, but we're getting the rub of the green. And there's several limitations and ceilings individually and collectively with this group of players, really and truly. What you could see is, let me just say this. I do think people are scapegoating Eddie Nketiah and Lokonga and making out they're the sole reason for why we were not able to get 3 points or look like we was ever going to score against PSV. You know, again, we have no midfield. So how can Eddie have chances? The little chances he had, he didn't do much, but it's come on now, people. For Lokonga, I don't think he was terrible. I don't think he was any better or as terrible as other players on the field, really and truly. But I think what it does highlight, I think Fabio Vieira was a positive, really, and Tomiyasu watching the game again to a degree, even though I think everybody was rubbish. I'll be real with you. It shows what we already know. We've got a small squad. We're playing a very dangerous game where I do like that we're trying to play our strongest team and all these things, but you do need to rotate players. You do need to rotate things and whatnot. And we're not able to do that. Or if we're missing Xhaka, who played yesterday, or Partey, it affects us. Xhaka can't play in the same way that he's been playing this season or what Arteta demands of him because Lokonga is not good enough within that role. I do think a lot of Lokonga's issues are mental. I think if he believes in himself a lot more, you see a better player. But at 23 years of age, you're still young enough to show us something. But it's not like you're a 19, 18-year-old been thrown in at the deep end now, man. You came to Arsenal with a decent amount of appearances at Anderlecht. I'm not going to say you've played a decent amount, but you've played substantially. I don't think there's enough confidence in there. I don't think his passing range across 90 minutes is good enough. He goes through moments where he looks really confident, drops a shoulder, plays good football, and then he kind of hides in possession. It's like he doesn't want the ball. Maybe Arteta is telling him to do that because that's what Arteta is demanding of him tactically, or maybe, you know, it's because Arteta knows he's not showing certain things, so he lets him hide behind that sort of thing. But it kind of kills us. I said it in my watch along before the game got started. I said, right-hand side, we're not getting much change. Fabio Vieira is not a player that's going to take... He did do some nutmegs in that, but he wants to play the short little 1-2s and be narrow and come inside and find his teammates and things like that. Tomiyasu, he's not good going forward like that. He's basic, innit, in a nice way. He just does his job, and I love him for that. We knew we weren't getting change out that right-hand side. The left-hand side, yeah, it was a bit better, but nothing really. And we have no midfield. So we're trying to play through wide areas. And obviously you've got PSV who were brilliant, pressing us, keeping us in our own half. So that was an issue for me. So then your final third players are not going to be in the game. But as we know, our squad depth players are limited. Eddie Nketiah at this moment in time, he has improved, but he's not good enough right now, really, to deputise for Jesus. And for me, I would like another striker. January, I want us to address midfield, but I would like another striker, obviously better than what we have, but someone with a different profile, someone that can throw himself around a bit more physically, because I think we have seen it in the second half against Southampton, really the large part of the Leeds game, and obviously yesterday, sometimes, and actually last season against Spurs and definitely Newcastle. A form of defending is actually what you do with the ball. Obviously, defending 2 banks of 4, clearing your lines, being compact, that is defending. But, you know, if you have a dribbler that can, you know, dribble past a couple guys, get you further up the field and get a foul and get your team stretched further up. If we had a number 8 that can dictate the tempo of a game, that's a form of defense. And if you've got a target man who in games where we're kind of under the cosh, you can just hit it into their chest. They'll look to bring other players into play or they'll win fouls. We haven't really got that. And, you know, no player took their chances, you know, and even some players that started that play every week in the Prem, really, if Arteta is sitting there and thinking, boy, some of you might get dropped, I might change things, I might do other things, they've not done anything really and truly to do anything. So we've got a limited bunch of players. Obviously, we're in a bit of a wobble. We're struggling to score goals. We are still getting results apart from yesterday, but it is kind of papering it through the cracks. You know, it does look like physically we're struggling. It does look like some of the juice has run out. It does look like there's a bit of normality in performance because we were blisteringly good at the start, scoring bare goals. So it's a bit of that. Ultimately, the squad's limited, really and truly. And, you know, in terms of how we defend, in terms of how we score goals, it's 10 times harder when certain players are not involved. Not that any of the subs did anything yesterday, really. In fact, Jesus didn't do anything. Saw him and Saka a lot more than those who played. And obviously Partey and things like that, really. So, yeah, and this is what I mean when I say we're an improved defensive side. We're not necessarily a good defensive side. We were all over the shop in the last couple of games, second half against Southampton, the whole of the Leeds game, and obviously PSV, and there's been an element of flatness. I don't like the way Eddie and Lokonga are being scapegoated, but ultimately a lot of these squad players holding as well are just not quite good enough. As I said, we need a different profile striker. We need a centre-back, you know, when players have to get rested. Even Saliba's been on a bit of a wobble, but I expect that of a 21-year-old. Because even when we've been turning over teams, there's been Buki moments, you know, as I keep saying, Leicester at home, Man United on the counter attack and the transition, PSV yesterday, Leeds where we won, Southampton in the second half, you know, and this is why I know football is, for all fans, football is a mad game. So when your team's doing well, I can't expect you to not focus on the positive, but you need to see what's ahead of you, because the way I feel about Arsenal is how I felt when we was winning games. I think we have a good chance of top 4. I think we're in a good direction. I think we're showing better discipline. I think we're unlearning bad habits and likewise learning good habits, but we've got a long way to go. And I keep saying, don't let this form, we've earned it, but don't let this put this team on a level that they're not that at a certain level yet, really and truly. I think Arteta, the defensive subs, I didn't understand yesterday because at one point I didn't know who the hell was playing in the defense, if we're playing on 4 or 5. Clearly, we're struggling to concentrate in defense. You know, we're failing on the defensive transition a number of times now, even the penalty against Spurs, struggling to convert chances. And we don't have goal scorers in our team. Saka's got 4 this season. Jesus has got 4 or 5, and they're good players and take nothing away from it, but they're learning to score goals. Jesus don't have a strong catalogue of goals. That was a big carrot as to, is there unlocked potential that you could get in terms of scoring goals playing through the middle? Saka and these lot have had one good... Martinelli hasn't had double figures in this season. Hopefully he continues. Saka's had 1 year. So again, the lack of goals, the lack of... we don't really have them special players that can just make something happen, if I'm completely honest with you. Obviously, and these players are going to make mistakes. Ramsdale for the second goal, bugging out. All over the shop. Everybody was all over the shop. It's not a scapegoating thing. Tomiyasu was rubbish. Tierney went rubbish. You know, Ramsdale crap did it yesterday. Saliba over the shop. You know, a lot of players were rubbish yesterday. You know, we win and lose and lose in that together. Midfield, if certain, you know, if Partey's not there for how Xhaka plays, then Xhaka has to drop down the level. And you saw a more conservative Xhaka, you know. And the main thing for me is I didn't see any players take their chances. Turner going to start the next game. I doubt so. I doubt so, because as much as, you know, Ramsdale was kind of poor in that goal, for me, it's that goal. He weren't. We were all over the shop defensively. Even before they scored those 2 goals, the warning signs were there, just like against Man United. And it's like we have to concede 1 or 2 before we think, okay, let's pattern up. Really, even the element of losing the game, like when it was evident we was losing and it's gone, there's a certain element of how you lose. And I think we lost our discipline. I think we need to get back to basics. I don't believe this, but playing devil's advocate, I'm starting to believe some players are believing the hype. They think we're at a level they're not. As I said, results are fluctuating. We was never going to be amazing. And all of these players, for as good as they are, they're very limited and young, really. You know, the young thing's not an excuse, but no one's the finished article like that, or you wouldn't be here. Even Odegaard and Jesus. If he was the Odegaard you showed at 16 years of age, if Jesus was the guy that came from Brazil, for as good as he was for City, you would not be here. So certain elements in the game I think we have to take, but defensively we need to go up a gear. We need to get back to converting chances. We need to get back to basics in all aspects, really. And if anyone believes that we've achieved anything, anyone that believes any hype in this squad in the games we've played so far, they need to leave, because we have not got top 4. We are not in the latter stages of the Europa League. You know, it's not May. Nothing's been achieved. And I'm being a bit harsh on them, but the way we're moving, it's like people are thinking that players are looking like we're something we're not really. And I don't believe in complacency, because the gaffer was saying we need to win this game, and I think the players as well. But the way we're playing, there was an element of complacency. We're just gonna rock up there. And again, I'm just a football fan. You could see what was going to happen. PSV needed to win. Boulder Glint are breathing down their necks, or were prior to this game, trying to take their place in qualifying for the latter stages. They lost to us. They lost 2 games, including the one against us prior to this. They're playing at home. It is what it is. Credit to PSV. Gakpo's put a couple more zeros on his transfer fee. If the man could stay on side, he'd be a lot litter. Xavi Simons was great in the game at the Emirates, was even better yesterday. And he's a player that's going to keep getting even more, what's the word, plaudits and that. And Sangare was good. Man to a man, all of PSV did their thing in it. PSV did what they needed to do. And that's what football's about. That's what we've done that's what we did against Liverpool and Spurs. When you play well, you get certain things. And our best defender was the linesman, because we should have lost 5-0. So I hope this acts as a sobering reminder for everybody connected to this club to keep their feet on the ground. And we've got a long way to go this season. There's a lot of good. We're moving in the right direction. It's not doom and gloom, but we're not there yet. This is why I keep saying, don't get too excited. But get excited, but keep in mind, when things are going good, we need to turn it into great. When things are terrible, like yesterday, there are some positives. We need to keep level-headed. And this is going to happen again. This is going to happen several times, people. This is what we signed up for. You know, as I said, apparently Gabriel's got a little knock. Any issues around squad depth and injuries, I have sympathy for the players. I have sympathy for the fans. I don't have sympathy for Edu and Arteta, because you've been here long enough. You've seen, even without European football, why you need depth in the squad last season. You saw it with Europa League. You saw it this year. As I said, I like the fact that man are going strong in the group, try and not play in the last 16 and things like that. And obviously, if these boys get into the Champions League, then you're going to have to do it on a Tuesday and a Wednesday, and then on a Saturday, Sunday. So it's good preparation. But at the same time, the squad depth is an issue. We take a couple of players out, we make it harder to defend and score goals, you know, and the players that you do have to use, you run the risk of injuries. Gabriel's apparently picked up a little knock. We'll see how that thing is. You suffer with burning players out, and then the level of performance, because Nottingham Forest are going to rock up on our place and they're going to be on it. You know, they put in a good result against Liverpool. They want to turn their season around. They're fighting for their lives. We've got, if you look at the top 6, it's a privileged issue. We're talking about top 4 and all of these things. They're fighting to stay in their lives in the league and avoid going into the championship. So we need a reaction, and the energy levels are going to have to be high. And obviously, they say it takes 48 hours to recover from a high-level footballing game. We played on Thursday. My maths is poor, but Saturday we should be recovered, and then we're going to have to do what we need to do. Again, the lack of squad depth is very concerning, and it's the major one for me, really, really and truly. But we're gonna have to maneuver, man. Our offside trap saved us, but it should have been 5-0. That's why I literally just said, you know, The linesman saved us. You know, the offside trap's been working and it was a bit of muscle memory. But did it look like, well, even when we conceded them goals, if you go and watch the game again like I did it look like we're intentionally playing the offside trap, or did it look like muscle memory? Because I see Tommy Asu not looking over his shoulder. I see Saliba all over the shop. I see Rob Holding looking like Bambi on ice. You know, we got fortunate even with Xavi Simmons' goal. What kind of Bandulu defending is that? We're very fortunate it's not 5-0. As I said, if Cody Gap, that is a positive. We are, as I said, we're an improved defensive side. We're not a good defensive side because they don't. Every goal could be avoided, but you don't concede goals like that yesterday. As I said, the goals that were disallowed, the first one, the alarm bell should have started ringing. I man, them wake up now. Wake up. We're bugging out. We're moving a bit mad. Let's wake up. We didn't want to wake up. We had to go a goal down and then a second. And it's that sort of thing that's been plaguing us in the last 18 months. As I said, you did the 2 goals we conceded against Leicester. The moments were there even before Leicester scored. If you remember the 2 goals they had, even before the penalty got disallowed with Vardy, prevention is better than cure. We need to start being a bit more proactive in that aspect. And I don't think any of them did that by a byproduct. I think it was a bit of a Bandulu one. You know, fatigue, tiredness, all of these young squads, all of these things make sense, but it only goes so far. We worked shit yesterday, man. Like, I'm not even vexed about the result. It's the performance. It's what we're doing. It's the standards we're trying to set. Better yet, the standards we're trying to maintain. As I said, you're going to have a wobble through a season. I'm happy with this wobble because 1-L in a group stage game where we're top, cool. We still got, we left Southampton with something. We left Leeds with something, but sometimes you get what you deserve. As you know in football, sometimes you win games where you shouldn't have won. Sometimes you lose when you don't necessarily deserve to lose. Sometimes you get what you deserve, and that is coming for Arsenal. We need to get back to the high standards because forget PSV. Now we're going to have to go strong against Zurich to a slight degree, regardless of them playing through pride. You know, we've got a big game against Nottingham Forest. We've got a big game against Chelsea to come, you know, and the players have shaken themselves because some of you might have got a rest against Zurich. Some of you might even got a rest against Nottingham Forest, but we need to get back on the boat, really. Simple as that. For me, anyways, where's the statistics thing? Where's it gone? Oh, the beat. And for me, it's the lack of being able to convert chances, man. Goals win games. Anytime you can't keep goals out the back of your net and you can't put some in the back of your opponents, are you going to win a game of football? It's a simple, football's a simple game complicated by idiots, man. Respectfully. Not saying you, I'm saying in general. So, yeah, we could have conceded 4-5, really and truly. And apparently 58% of Arsenal's players been in the opposition half this season, the highest portion of any team in the top flight. That's great. But also at the same time, as I said, with the many goals we've conceded this season, I would actually say go and watch the Watford game last year, where I think we won 3-2 and we made it harder than it needed to be. Arsenal scored just 4 goals in their last 5 games in all comps. There's an element of flatness now. And again, we know certain players are limited. Gabriel Jesus came off the bench, completed more passes than Eddie Nketiah in the opposition's half. Gabby Jesus had 7, Eddie had 6. And at the same time, I can't keep getting vexed. I do think people are scapegoating these players. I do think they're improving. I do think they played poor, which, you know, I'm specifically talking about the squad players. Multiple truths can live in the same realm, people. But at the same time, who is playing them? Like, you knew Lokonga's a bit shaky. You knew Eddie, yeah, he was good at the tail end of last season, but you know he's not the guy like that. So how can I keep getting vexed at guys that I know ain't got the juice in them? As I keep saying, I don't ask anything of these players, every individual player, more than I think you have. Of course, if it's Saka and Reece Nelson, I'm gonna have higher expectations on Saka. But I'm not asking Lokonga to be part A. You're not that. I'm just asking you to be a bit more confident, competent, and consistent. And also, again, this is with Arteta and Edu, because these players, we can't hold anyone's hand this season. We're trying to get back to top 4 and things like that. We knew the sort of games we had to play. We knew going into the World Cup it's uncharted how the fixture calendar list is going to plan out and what players of fitness and all them things are going to be saying. We know the squad is limited. You know, we saw how at times, Tavares, Cedric, Holding, they came in last season and did well. But we saw at the tail end when it was business time, how limited certain men are. So how can I keep getting vexed? How can I keep getting vexed at these guys if they ain't got it? Call me a liar, but Lokonga didn't play bad. He's just not part A level, low expectations for man. I have been seeing that online. I don't know about anyone else, but I think I've just kind of said that. I'm not going to judge Lokonga through the premise of Thomas Partey because he's not that. But everybody was rubbish yesterday. That is adapting. And as I said at the start, I don't know when you came in, I do think there's an unnecessary element of Lokonga scapegoat. In man acting like he's the reason we won, lost, or drawn. What's going on with the other 10 players from start to finish? But it's not good enough from Lukonga. I'm still retaining faith in you. I'll never write off people and stuff like that. But we're on an upward trajectory. We're trying to go one place. We can't hold people. If you're on an airplane and a crisis happens, they say pattern your life jacket first. If we use that premise of we're trying to get into the top 4 again and again, if obviously people develop at different rates, we can't hold anyone's hand. It's nothing to do with Thomas Partey. He's just playing rubbish. Like, he's not showing enough of the ball, so we can't play through midfield. Xhaka is having to change how he plays. He goes through little patches in the game where he drops his shoulder, shows confidence. And I think the biggest improvement Lukonga can make is confidence. I think if he displays some confidence, he'll look a better player. But for someone whose best performance is off the field, for me anyways, I can't give you a catalogue of games Lukonga's played well, and I'm not trying to criticize him. I can tell you that he's spoke about wanting to play more. I could talk to you about how he's criticizing the Roberto Martinez for Belgium. We all know about the segment in All or Nothing. You're talking on the pitch. You didn't do no chatting on the pitch. And you should, Lukonga should be a bit fearless. I get it. Psychologically, you're not playing. You think, oh, I might not be in the team, and I'm looking at him, but you should be fearless. If you know it can't, what's the worst that can happen? I'm holding the bench again. You might as well try a thing. It's the basics what Partey does that Lukonga needs to do. The way he shows for the ball, the positions he takes up, the language style that Lukonga has. I like Lukonga, but I like my football club more. I'm not going to ask anything more of any player than I think they've got in them. I'm not going to ask Tavares, who's irrelevant to this, to play like Tierney or Tomiyasu or Zinchenko. He's not that. But if I feel your standards are not there, it's not there. And this is what annoys me about football fans. You know, it's some football fans are doing this. He played well. He was rubbish. You know, it's like Gio, to use you as an example. Oh, you're judging him on Partey. No one's judging my man on Partey. You know, Partey's got his own question marks. No one is looking at him to be Thomas Partey. Just looking at you to look like a competent Arsenal midfielder when called upon. I'm not going to ask Eddie to bag 20 league goals. And I think people are being a lot harsher to Eddie than Lukonga because the midfield's not in the game. What do you think the strikers are going to do? We've seen this with Jesus up front. We've saw this with even Lacazette and Aubameyang. But Eddie could show a bit more, could do a bit more. And at the same time, if they're the ones playing, they're not picking themselves. They didn't assemble this squad. We know squad depth is an issue. And I said I've got a lot of sympathies for Edu and Mikel Arteta. Squad depth, or better yet, the issues that we face ourselves with squad depth, or not having squad depth, or limited squad depth, or as you rightly said, a paper-thin squad. I've got no sympathy. We're playing a dangerous game, which we should have learned. Arteta's been here for this is his 3rd year now. I like Arteta. I'm not saying we need to do a 180, but in the same way I praise you, when there needs to be criticisms, there needs to be criticisms. I think there's minimal criticisms for Mikel Arteta this season. One has been when we're chasing a game, like at Old Trafford, like yesterday, I think the crisis management ain't been good enough, and we've kind of the system looks a bit disjointed. Squad depth, we're playing a naive game because we know either players are going to start getting injured or, you know, people are going to start looking flat. People are not robots. Physically, it takes a lot out of you. So if these things play any sort of issue as to why we don't have the season we have, then it is what it is. Obviously, Pepe ain't drawing any mad plaudits at Nice, but he's got 4 goals in 6 appearances. And as I said, he's playing very indifferent if you're watching these. I look at Marquinhos, I look at Nelson, I look at the fact of a winger's not here. Could Pepe have stayed then? I don't know. All I know is any consequences of not having a proper depth, there's issues there, man. It is what it is. So it should just be a sobering reminder. Like I said, learn these lessons now. Don't, same way we had to go to 1-2 goals down to think, oh my God, it's long. Let's start playing a bit now, which we didn't. Don't wait to your form, because at the end of the day, last 5 games, 1 L, a draw, 3 wins. Forgive me if I'm wrong. It could be better. It could be worse. Don't wait till, you know, we start going on where the mood isn't as nice as it is right now. The results haven't been kind. Don't wait till then to fix up. You haven't achieved anything. And again, it's very hard for me sometimes to accept certain things because I'm only 27. But I can vividly remember Sol Campbell and Jens Lehmann winning a league title at the Opsies ground and wanting to punch each other up. I'm not asking them to be invincibles or play like them because they can't. But what you can adopt is a mentality. I think the mentality has improved. But again, it seems like players, based on how we've been playing, people are believing the hype. I know the gaffer isn't. That's one thing I'm giving, but people are believing their hype. People are believing that we're on the level that we're not. We're not there yet. So I have to keep going. And for an improved defensive side, we've let ourselves down defensively. We was playing with a lot of fire on the transition, getting counter-attacked. As I said, Cody Gakpo stays on side. He probably has a hat-trick yesterday. Didn't, fortunately. The marking from the set piece, let alone what Ramsdale's doing collectively and individually. We've been good at both ends for set pieces. Get back to those standards. It could be better. It could be worse. but we just have to keep going. I'm not even vexed about the defeat beyond the obvious. It's the way we played. So let's see what goes on, innit? Simple as that, really. Big up you lot, people. 1 second, let me make a timestamp. I was going to put 2-0, but it's not that. Smash the like button if you haven't, really and truly, people. Again, moving on. What are you guys saying? Hello, fellow Gunner. Hello, mate. Every game is now big pressure. Need to keep believing and keep the level of performance. That's it. But I'm a bit weird because football means the world to me. I agree with you, Phil, in that it's a high-level environment, big pressure. But at the same time, there should be so much pressure. There's not. At the same time, we should be in a realm where we understand and big pressure and things. But at the same time, it's a game of football. Go out there and enjoy it. You're footballers. You're in a nice world. You know, the world isn't nice right now. You know, there's nothing to be nice about. We're in a recession, living wages, all these things. You're not a doctor where if you make a mistake doing heart surgery, it's curtains. You make a mistake in football, so bloody what? And this is me saying it means the world to me, but so bloody what? You're in a privileged position. Just keep enjoying what you're doing. Keep working hard. Go back to basics. Because I think Jesus has said it. I think Ramsdale has said it in little ways. We're not going back to basics. Football means the world, but also it's just a game. So get back to it. Just get back to it. Enjoy yourselves. We don't look like we're enjoying ourselves again. Enjoy yourselves. Play football, man. React. We're not looking like we're enjoying ourselves again, man. Aside from tiredness creeping from the Thursday-Sunday schedule, I think we're being too complacent when we're dominant in 0-0, 1-0 up. I think that's more at home than away, but I agree. Man, we're going to be in trouble for that Chelsea game 48 hours after we've played Zurich. Boy, they're going to have to hold it. Ain't it on Sunday? I could be wrong. We're doing good things this season, but as most of fans already know, that squad depth problem, and it showed yesterday. No excuses for Arteta and Edu in the January window. I agree. Facts, and more facts. We do need to stay level-headed. Appreciate that, my guy. You're the realist. I don't know about that, but I appreciate that. Don't think Xhaka appreciated Xavi Simons showboating, although Anthony wins that prize. I don't think he liked the fact that he was time wasted. You lot should, and I was seeing that. Get angry at yourselves. You lot should be angry at yourselves, man. And big up Pablo Mari once again. Big up DG. Did you see my daughter at the match last night on the box? No, I didn't, you know. Big up your daughter, though. Made Xavi Simons look like a baller, which is what's jarring me. Made them all look like ballers, and to be fair, they are, man. As a United fan, I think Eddie isn't good enough to be second choice. He has to be third choice for Arsenal standards. I agree. Appreciate you for the super chat, Jay. Big up DG. Speedy recovery, Pablo Mari, my guy. Again, speedy recovery, man. Crap news, man. I rate Martinelli as much as you do, DG, but is his lack of composure becoming frustrating? Still patient and no agendas, but I haven't seen him kick on like that. Composure, I would say the biggest thing for me with Martinelli is he's got to look a bit more refined. First touch could be a bit better. Sometimes I think his best gift and his curse is that he tries too hard. Like he was yesterday, there was a chance. I'm not going to get at him because we needed to do a lot more, but there was a chance that fell to him in the box. Now, what do I know? I ain't no footballer, but it felt like if you just took a touch, took a moment, set yourself, put it in, you got a goal in it in your 100th appearance for Arsenal. Congrats to him. Instead, he tried to do the volley thing. For me, the biggest thing with him is something that he can't actually change probably at this moment. It's the first touch, really, because as everything, you're taught in football, your first touch is everything. Sometimes his first touch isn't quite there and his head is down. But yeah, man, I mean, this is his first real somewhat a season where I've seen significant progress in Martinelli. So hopefully he continues really and truly, man. But again, we're burning man out, really. Like, these are 21-year-olds, bro. I don't like to do the age thing. Yeah, this is what we're doing, innit? But it's going to happen. These people are going to do stupid things. People are not going to perform. And this is where I'm more on the depth of the squads required. Lokonga, Eddie, I think you mean we have to sell these players to bring in responsible players. Xavi Simons is average. I don't know for his potential. I mean, he can be average. He can be all of these things. I think he's a decent player. I definitely think his reputation has been enhanced on the last 2 games we're playing. We need to sign Gakpo and transform him into a 9. I'm tired of talking about Eddie. Send him on loan. I mean, again, Gakpo would have to learn a lot to play with his back to goal, really, especially in the Prem. But I do like what I see from him. Again, the thing with him, just hold your run, bro. Hey, DG, Lokonga is vexing for someone who wants to play a lot. He seems scared when he comes on the pitch. Confidence is the biggest issue. Again, yeah. And I agree with you because I've echoed that. But at the same time, when you're coming and chatting all the time, bro, show that the confidence you got to puff out your chest and go to press conferences and things and talk. You need to be showing that. Because for me, you don't strike me, Lokonga, as someone, and I think you probably will, but you don't strike me as someone that goes into Arteta's door, knocks on the door and says, Gaffer, why aren't I playing? Like, why aren't I playing? I want to play. What do I need to do? You know, you seem like a sulker. You're not going to say anything. You're just going to go online and chat. When you chat, like Arteta said, when you chat, when you take your chance. You know, you ain't taking your chance. Obviously, it's difficult when you're getting one game, 10 minutes, this and that, but you're getting what you deserve. Your chance will come, because I don't know if we're signing people in Jan, and we've got weak squad depth, and Xhaka and Partey can't play every game. When it comes, take your chance, but stop fucking talking and do your job. There's too much chattings. Lokonga's best performances for Arsenal Football Club have been in the all or nothing, have been talking in the press. And this is someone that's a fan of Lokonga. But I have to be honest, stop the chatting. I wouldn't give up on him now, but the way it's moving, you might have to hit the loan circuit, my guy. Because at 23, there should be a bit more about you. You know, I can't, bro, sitting here and saying Arsenal midfielder don't want the ball all the time. That's a crime, bro. That's criminal. And I've got great sympathy for Lokonga, but that's criminal. If you don't want the ball in the modern game as a centre mid, you need to F off. But I don't like the scapegoating that's going his way, man. I think Tomiyasu was shit yesterday. I think everyone was really, man. Has the left back thing lost the juice? Nah, man. He done a bit better defensively than people, but we was all shit, man. I wouldn't say it's done, because Tomiyasu is there more time when he's got a man marking job to do. So continue it if you need be. Every time I close my eyes, I think of the Eddie chance, mainly because that's the sort of chance that could turn your form around. It's true, Ravi. You're right. Facts. But again, it's difficult. You're getting 2 chances a game and you need to put them in. But, unless you're playing FIFA, bro, it's difficult, because, like, we're not creating. Our strikers don't. Even Jesus needs to bag more. But at Arsenal, it should be a striker's dream to play through the middle for Arsenal with the players we've got and the players we can have. We don't create enough clear-cut chances. For a large period of the game, Eddie's just running about. And at the same time, we know Eddie ain't got the juice like that. It's not like a young Mbappe or something. He's going to dance past bare man. So at some time, as I said, I adjust my expectations according to the players. And at the same time, they're not the ones playing. You know, as I said, I've got a lot of sympathies for Arteta and Eddie. But when it comes to the playing squad, I don't. Because you have told me, if things go wrong, Eddie Nketiah is the one to play through the middle. Lokonga, if things go wrong, until January at least, or for now, from August till January, that's when you can buy players. If something goes wrong with a midfielder, you're playing Lokonga. You've bet on these guys. It doesn't matter. Anyone in the squad, anyone in the bench has to be able to play 1 game or 38 league games. It's crazy, man. Eddie in 5, 10, 30 minutes can show us why he needs more minutes. I agree. He's too concerned with starts. Footballers just want time on the pitch. To be fair to Eddie, I think he's quite mature in how he handles things. Like, he understands I have to bide my time and things. It's very different to how Lokonga's been chatting, if I'm completely honest with you. Like, I think I think that really. I think you lot are being a bit harsh. 38 likes, people. This is a tough day of content, innit, people? It's one of them ones we're just going to have to build and move and maintain. Why is YouTube froze now? Don't even know if you lot can hear me. Big up the Twitch ones as well. If we can't handle the Europa League schedule, we don't deserve the Champions League. I hear that. They can't complain. They play week in, week out with this fixture schedule. Don't matter what the comp is. They haven't learned to play Prem, talk too much. And that's the thing. You open yourself up. And as I keep saying, I'm not a fan of the scapegoating thing with Lokonga, because Lokonga was poor yesterday, but he weren't any better or worse than even the more experienced players. You can't say he was any better or worse than Martin Odegaard, who was here for 5 minutes. Then actually Saliba. Then Tomiyasu, but Tomiyasu as well. Rob Holding. Ramsdale kind of collapsed, but even with Ramsdale, I don't know what he was doing for the corner. Even the transition that led to that corner was open all game. He was bugging out for that corner. Ramsdale's got that in him. His positioning needs to improve. His anticipation needs to improve, and all of these things. But you could see him on the pitch telling, man, kept doing this. And as much as the keeper could do better, it's like the keeper's the last line of defense. He has to hold his hands up for the corner. But how could you have prevented the corner by being switched on the transition? I was having this debate with my brethren about you see the goal that Marcus Edwards scored. He's a Spurs fan. And like we was talking about it, and I was like, who do you blame? He was like, Romero could have done better. I can't remember the midfielder that got duppied, but some midfielder got sent shop. Romero's backing up. Someone else could have done better. And even Hugo Lloris, his blame at the most was with Hugo Lloris, because he feels he does that a lot. And I was saying to him, hold on a minute, I hear it. Hugo Lloris, I'm back in Spurs dons, but he's got that in him, innit? But a bit like Ramsdale against Leeds, it could have been a lot worse without Hugo Lloris against United. So there's different protagonists and villains and heroes week in, week out. And at the same time, you're taught your goalkeeper is your last line of defense, not to excuse anyone. Before your keeper has to make a save, there's literally 2 banks of 4 to go through. So this is why I was like to him, surely it's midfield, or if anything, Romero, because Romero just backing up, rather than throwing himself in there. And that's how I look at it with Ramsdale as well. Again, I beg you, look, go and watch the Leicester game again. Go and watch the goals we conceded. Go and watch the first half. Go and watch before the VAR got involved and got rid of the penalty that Vardy would have had. Because you can see it. Off the ball, these players need to think. Football is about what you do with the ball, but off the field tells the story. You know, I can't remember who scored, but I think it was Vinicius, a Modric pass. If Vinicius doesn't make that run off the ball, Modric doesn't see him for that pass, and he doesn't score that Champions League goal last season. Off the ball. That's why City are the best team in our league. Yes, on it and the money they spent, but off it defensively and offensively. And we go to sleep sometimes. These concentration levels of these for Champions League for next season, top 4 this year. Lokonga plus 50 million for Savic looks really tasty after last night's performance. We'll be zanging ourselves really. Just put the money down for Savic in the summer if you really want that. He's too excited, man. My head's hot solely because we made Xavi Simons look cold. He's not that guy in mum's life. We got to be angry with ourselves, blood, like you're saying. But I think Xavi Simons is decent still. The boys, the club, and the fans got humbled. Not me, because I've been saying this, you know. And I'm sure there's a lot of fans like myself, man. They humbled themselves. Eddie's my guy, but he needs to work on his first touch. Last 2 games were shaky, and they're away. Great point, Ravi, and unfortunately, that's fact. We've got the Bridge and Molineux coming up. If you don't know where the Molineux is, he's referring to the Wolves game. We have to win on Sunday if we stand a chance against them grounds. And that's a great point, and that's something that bugs me as well because, you know, where you look at the league campaign, Old Trafford, you know, when you get the fixture calendar list in the summer, we all go through, you know, when are we playing Spurs, United, Chelsea, etc., etc. But we all look at the Brighton away, the Southampton away, and them bug grounds there. Yeah, we can still have a good season. And obviously, if we get top 4, I don't really care about what we did at Old Trafford or Southampton beyond needing to improve and things like that. But you're right. It's the away games where we're looking shaky. Old Trafford, we were terrible. You know, St. Mary's, we were terrible in the second half. Didn't kill the game in the first. Yesterday, terrible at PSV's place compared to at home. We have improved away from home, but you need to go and put in results really and truly. And it's something to be wary of. Wolves, again, fighting for their lives. New manager hype. We've beat Chelsea last couple of times now. They're going to be on to us. Pardon me, get back to basics. And set pieces as well. I'm not going to lie, we struck gold with DG Realist content creator out here. I wish I could cry, man. Appreciate that. Without you lot, the platform's dead, man. 100% DG. Lokonga needs to stop standing behind people. Cameras don't lie, mate. Wolves are looking hella shaky right now. I'm more worried about Forest on set. Bro, I'm worried about everyone. I'm worried about everyone. Form goes out the window more time. How many times? I'm sure last season there was negative talking points when we played Palace, when we played Brighton and Southampton, and what happened? You're right, though. Listen, Nottingham Forest, we need to win. We need that insurance going into Chelsea. But at the same time, they put in a performance against Liverpool. Their managers talked about winning breeds winning. They seem like a confident bunch, and they want to. You know, this is probably the best time to play Arsenal because although we're getting results, excluding yesterday, when you look at the performances, we're not quite as good as we were at the start of the season, innit? So and again, a fearless approach. As I was saying with Lokonga, Forest got nothing to lose. If they win, it's mad headlines. If they lose, it's kind of standard procedures. So it's a tough run of games, man. We've got a tough close until the Premier League takes a little break. And then, well, in fact, forget all of that. We know we got the World Cup break. But from now, bordering on November to February, and even February is peak. It's actually peak. You have to go out there and do this, man. Potter record and Aubameyang fairy tale. I know how that game goes. Forest hype must be a big reaction. Can't lie. I need a slapping on Sunday. I need 4 goals. I think we all do. Been shaky for a while, but big problem going to be the lack of depth. But January window, they better get some players. No excuses. I mean, if you was whoever Arsenal are trying to buy, let's just say you, I don't know, Arsenal are looking at buying your midfield and you was watching the Arsenal game. Surely put a couple more zeros because January is difficult to do business. You can't. Arsenal look desperate for depth. If you do buy people in January, bar the exception, you are desperate because a lot of it is reactive sales. A lot of players are leaving clubs or looking at their situations, but you probably make it difficult. But you are right. We need that, man. Away fans were stashed in a pigeonhole in the corner of their stadium. It was like playing with no support. Not an excuse, but definitely a smart move by PSV. Smart move. And PSV basic. Every away team has that coming to the Emirates. World Cup tax as well. Can't forget that for post-Jan moves. Tell them again. The selfish fan in me wants our players out of the World Cup as soon as possible for some rest. I hear you. We need to win all our games before the World Cup. If Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and Raheem Sterling keep shooting blanks like they have, Arsenal shakes off this dump, we'll be fine. We better show up on Sunday versus Nottingham Forest and earn the right to play on the pitch. Amen. Don't forget, on the topic of Nottingham Forest Arsenal, we're doing a watch along. It kicks off at 2 p.m. UK time. I'll be live from 1 p.m. The link has just been dropped. Set your notifications, but same way, don't rely on the notifications because Twitch and YouTube are doing me dirty. Tomorrow from 12:15, we might as well watch Leicester City versus Manchester City. Now we can't, bro. There's no rest now because we're going through in the group. But, mathematically, we can still finish second in the Europa League. So we're probably going to have to go as strong as we can against Zurich to confirm that and go to the last 16 versus the last 32. You lot could have had a night off. Crazy. So everyone needs to take blame. Everyone needs to slap themselves in the changing room, from the gaffer to the players. Put water on their face and whatever dream we've been dreaming, get back in the real world, because, we're not doing the same basics that we were previously doing. And if you can't be, obviously across a Premier League campaign, you're going to be better or worse for 38 games. Top four is a battle of the inconsistent, like Spurs, Arsenal, United, Chelsea, all shown last season, regardless of where they finished. There is going to be a struggle, but you only have yourself to blame. This is why I've said, going back to Unai Emery's season, no matter what other teams have done and who's been better than us, we have cost ourselves Champions League football. There's no good being good for a couple of games. You need to be better. You need to be almost perfect across the season. So let's just, again, it could be better, it could be worse. What we should be is thankful that it's not like we've no winning 5 and all these things, but there might come a time where that's that. Have to play big against Zurich and Chelsea now. The last time Lokonga played, I came in here and said I'm giving up on him. Now I'm fully done with him. The bread does nothing. Have you ever seen him sprint, chat, spare, was about the game, but showed up then? You're 23, my guy. De Jong was good, but we were also poor. Again, you big up. I don't like to keep saying I said it. But everyone that was at my watch along, I keep saying this, and this is what scares me about Nottingham Forest or things like that. These dons are street smart. De Jong is a street smart player. Forget ability, he's street smart, understands football. The IQ is there. I said it when he came on. They're gonna now do a thing now because Gakpo showing his naivety, being offside. Xavi Simons, great player, but he's more. When you're young, it's not that you don't know what you're doing, but it's not really calculated. You're just going with instinct. De Jong knows how to play ball, and you could see it for his. I'd credit him with the assist for the first goal, and we've given him his goal. But if you go and look at it, he's lost his man. Ramsdale's come out, and it's stupid, isn't it? Ramsdale stays in his line, he probably saves it, but he's a street smart individual. Anyone that with half a brain is gonna pick apart this naive team. So it's both. We were shambles defensively, but De Jong played well. Olden but golden. Am I wrong, DG? Tell me, bro. Maybe man's blind, but I see nothing in Sambi anymore. Those small glimpses of quality early last season have gone. Donny just jogs about with no impact. Listen, I've got no leg to stand on to defend Sambi Lokonga. You can't at this moment. I am saying, for me, I think there's a player in there. I don't know if you're going to ever be the party guy. Right now, I'll be lucky to see you be a decent rotation option. I think there is something in him, but it now needs to get out of it. And that's, it's all fun and games buying these young players. They need to improve. He's got to do it himself, but there needs to be something. Because for me, if you could bring me 2 midfielders, I'm on it. 2 midfielders, Partey, Xhaka, El Nene, just spare part. Boy, it's peak for Lokonga. You stay for depth, but it's peak at this moment in time. He needs to get going, really. And at this moment, if it continues like this, not January, because we need to bring in midfielders in that, but probably next season, you might need to hit the loan strip for a year or 2. Really and truly. If I'm completely honest with you. DG, let's say we are in July 2021. Eddie rings you saying, I want to get an under-22 midfielder. Who do you recommend? Who you're buying? You're going to have to give me... I'll get back to you in the next live stream, man. I can't do that off the top of my head. I have to go in my Google Doc sheet of all my players, man. Tijeko's another... Any street smart player can ask questions of this Arsenal team. Any street smart player. De Jong relies on intelligence and being street smart. Exactly. It's not an instinct thing. We're a young team. I'm not saying we're not thinking, but we're relying on instinct. We're just doing random things that it just matters. Obviously, it's calculated. It's a result of the training ground. But De Jong is not quick. He's strong, but he's not mad strong. He has to use this. That's why them kind of players, even though his career is winding down, he always finds his way in some sort of role at a decent club. And maybe Ruud van Nistelrooy is thinking, yo, why didn't I start him? When he came on, I said it was long. Because, again, we had young attackers playing against young defenders. He's experienced. And with him, he knows, all right, cool. If I pull over to this angle, that's going to leave space for my teammates, like you saw in the build-up to the goal. I'd like to see what Lokonga can do as an 8. To be honest, DG, when we say we want Lokonga at 8, it's not because he offers something there. It's just because he's too pony at 6, saying that yesterday was okay for his standards. I agree with that. But I don't know how to react to that. What does that mean, my guy? Like, no. For me, anyways, no. Like, if you're still playing midfield. The roles change slightly, but the premise of midfield, anticipation, progressing with the ball, these things still remain the same. You still got to defend. Xhaka's up and down more time. So, and is Lokonga's passing ability at this moment in time that good enough? So we'll say, you know what, the cons to your game are outweighed by the pros. I'm sorry, I don't want to sound like this guy, and I hear you. I hear what you're saying. You're basically saying absolve him of some responsibilities. I hear you, but you look pony as a 6. You look like it's a box-to-box thing right now. 8, I'm not here for it because you're not confident enough on the ball. You're not going to be able to bring the fullbacks into play. You're not going to be able to do things quickly. You know, I'm sorry, but I'm not really with it. You know, Xhaka plays ahead of you every day of the week. I want 2 8s. If you bring 1 and 8 in Jan, this peak for you. You've got Smith Rowe, Zinchenko, Fabio Vieira, Odegaard, who all play in different roles. I'm sure they all like to. I think they could all be 8s long term as well as able to play in the 10. So until I see something better, it's a myth for Lokonga, bro. And that's just me. I want to be proven wrong. I want Lokonga to show himself as an 8 or a 6, but I'm not gassed off the preseason thing. You can be an 8. Every midfielder can play when there's bare space. Even our defenders, and you've seen it in the last few games. When there's no one pressing you and stuff, everyone can show their ability. When there's every reason not to be confident, not to play, you're making mistakes, you're in the trenches, that's when I want to see it. And I ain't seen that from Lokonga. I hope that he looks like this Yaya Toure, that he proves to be a competent 6 or an 8. If I had to bet money, it's a 6 thing, and that looks a myth. If El Nene was fit like man, it's a myth for him as well. Nah, Lokonga can play, but it's not adapting. That I can't, man. Like, it's myth, bro. It's big up Lokonga. You know, you man are letting the man down in Black History Month as well, but yeah, man, I can't, man. Like it's until I see something, it's a myth, bro. It's a myth. It's a myth. The only one you're probably playing ahead of is Charlie Patino at this moment in time, purely because he's out on loan and you're a 20 million addition. But the way he's moving, I'd rather give him a chance. And again, I think too many people get excited when these young guys go on loan. You know, Patino, Balogun, Brooknott and Coffey, they're doing well. They're on the right trajectory. They've got a lot to learn. Can't get gassed off 12 games. But Lokonga don't. As I said, the main thing Lokonga could do for me is confidence. If you show some confidence in yourself, you'll look a bit better. I'm not here for the 8 thing, man. I'm not. I don't want to see what you can do in the 8. Personally, I don't want to see it. I'm not here for it. At this moment, I don't want to see it. I hear it, but I don't want to see it. At all. Limstrong's still available and the cheap and he's mad versatile. Them rumours there went away, innit? If El Nene was fit, this Brer would have about 27 minutes this season. He isn't better than El Nene. At this moment in time, he's not. But it's not where you start, it's where you finish. And we're going to have to get a tune out of him because, you know, not every young player is going to start thriving. As I said, I'm not giving up on Lokonga yet. I'm not giving up on Lokonga yet. But I care about my football club. I care about getting top 4. If someone said tomorrow, if Edu, which he doesn't have my number, if he called me tomorrow and said, we're bringing in 2 midfielders, a 6 and an 8, or 2 8s and a 6 in Dreamworld, Lokonga safe, loan thing. It's looking like, unless I see something different, it's looking like you might have to hit the loan strip for a couple of years, man. Like, get your confidence up and keep it moving, man. I blame company, man. Company defo pocketed some of that transfer fee. Definitely. Jadon Sancho is shocking for us at the moment, but he's a quality player. Lokonga will come good. Just give him time. You've seen the prices being quoted for Mudryk. Potential's the biggest buzzword, isn't it? I can't blame Shaq to the Nets for trying to be selling to the highest bidder. You know, Jaden went for big P's. Anthony went for big P's. We bought Pepe for big P's. You know, it is what it is. People know that you can get zanged. You can zang people in the market. 60 million on Cucurella. British clubs got more money than sense more time. And I'm not criticizing anyone. It's just that it's nothing personal, bro. It's nothing personal. I just want people to progress. Sambi's got until the end of the season, in my opinion, and then man, I have to see what's going on. Really, everyone develops at different rates. But Sambi, I'm not asking you to be amazing. I did think you'd be a lot better than you are right now, though. Nothing personal, man. Just want trophies. Bro, Sancho's a quality player, bro. It will happen for him. I just think, away from what's going on tactically and all of that stuff, I think for fans, maybe because United fans, it was about 2-3 years in the making for Jaden, but I just think they had him painted as a player that he's not this. He can take people on, but he's not this winger that's gonna do the George Best thing, hug the touchline and just rip, man. He will do that, but he wants to play them neat little 1-2s. It's almost like he's not a 10, but it's almost like he wants to do the little 10 thing. It's like his game. He wants to do them short little passes and third man runs and all of that. And that's it. I just want Lokonga to be competent, bro. I'm always gonna root for the man, them. But you need to root for yourself, man. You're not rooting for yourself right now. And again, I can't blame some fans for having some frustration. I don't think anything Lokonga has said, for what it's worth, in any of these media sound bites that have come out has been wrong, or he shouldn't have said, or anything like that. But you open yourself up to certain things when you're chatting. If you just shut your mouth, he's calm. Bro, send him to Marseille, blood. I wouldn't say with an obligation yet, but he's got to the end of the season. Vieira shouldn't be our backup right winger. It's because of needs must, but goes back to not getting a winger in the summer. Exactly. You know, clearly, Vieira has said himself, I will play wherever the gaffer wants me, but I'm a 10. DG, who you bringing off the bench? Denilson or Lokonga? Were you talking about the Denilson that was here? I'd rather Lokonga, man. I didn't rate Denilson at all. At all. But at least he can say he scored a couple goals in that. But I don't want to make this the Lokonga show, man. There's no need to do all of that, man. He's not alone. And as I said, I'm a fan of the constructive criticism and that. But man, I'm moving like Lokonga messed it up himself. Want to be patient with the team, but seeing us under Graham, Rioch, and Wenger, I don't understand players who lack bottle. We've had 15 tough years like this squad, but need better mentality / maturity. Yes, I can't disagree. I do think it's improved, but this is what I mean. I'm not saying you, but a lot of what we saw yesterday, exaggerated, but a lot of what we saw yesterday, bro, man's been seeing it since we was winning all these games in the league. It's just the problem is when you lose, everyone's got time to hear these things or thingy these things. It doesn't matter when you've won. Never thought I'd miss El Nene so much. Lokonga and Eddie both need loans next season, not ready for the first team. What rating would you give Vieira so far? Good moments for sure, but overall a bit underwhelming. 5-6. Because I don't think you've been given opportunity to show more. You know, look like you need to improve physically. I think you was one of the better players yesterday for me, but no one was good, so it doesn't really matter. Anonymous, really. I'd say the worst, off the top of my head, the worst game I've seen from Vieira, probably PSV, like Lokonga, PSV at home, like very anonymous. I like what I see from him in it, like, but right now you're a rotation squad sub sort of done. I like him a lot, but he needs to go gym, man. Needs to go gym a lot. Yesterday was the first day, ironically, in a shambolic defensive performance. The first day I really saw you like proper defending, like, and Arteta kind of says it in little ways, like, oh yeah, he's a good player, needs to improve defensively off the ball. I kind of saw it, but needs to bulk up, man. I think a good complementary player to the squad, you know, an eye for goal. We're just shooting. I like him, man. 5-6, not a 6, really. Just 5 out of 10. Really. Not a fan of him on the ring. Obviously, games where teams are sitting back, we could do a thing. But yeah, man. He's off. DG, my brother, shout Vegas Gunner. I'm afraid if El Nene and Smith Rowe come back fit before January, we won't strengthen the squad. Your thoughts? Pardon me, I don't want to hear not like a new signing hype. I'll be real with you, you know, big up them, and we need that. But even when everybody's fit, we're in issues, you know. I go back to when we wanted Basuma at this club, but the fans, you know, some fans were saying, oh, and you know, it is what it is. But some fans were saying, oh, we don't need him. We got depth. Them times there, everybody was fit. Then if you remember, we had a somewhat mini centre mid crisis, you know, when Partey picked up a little note, El Nene, you know, we've got depth, but when you read through the lines, we haven't got depth. We need to pile up that goal difference this weekend in case Chelsea hold us to a draw. I hear that. Sambi hasn't shown us nothing, unfortunately. All the talk just makes him look like a soft. It's true. Like, I'm trying to think best games from Lukonga. I'd say for me, Newcastle at home last season, with him and Ainsley Maitland-Niles did a job. Apart from that, and again, it's not like you just can't trust it. You just haven't got the trust of the gaffer, rightly so, right now. You can get it. Martinelli never had the trust. Not as exaggerated as this, but he never had the trust. Now he's in the lineup. You just got to take your chances, man. Arsenal looked like a team who hadn't planned to play. Ramsdale was a late change, but everyone else, what's their excuse? Like, it don't matter, bro. Ramsdale would have been on the bench because I know keepers don't. If you're on the bench, you don't expect to play, but you got to be ready, man. Everyone's got to be ready. So I hear you, TD, but nah, man. Everyone was shit, bro. Simple as that. Everyone was shit. No one played to their capabilities. If a genuine, not that they can, but if one of them players can genuinely look me in my eyes and say, I think I played a good game. I think I played to my capabilities. I want to fight you because I think you're a liar. I think you don't have integrity. I think you need to leave the club. And I don't think you're a man of your word. Not a single player out there can say they did anything. We're all in this together. Everyone, if we win, it's calm. If we lose, everyone was dead, man. Everyone was dead. Everyone was dead. I still retain faith in Tomiyasu and Ramsdale. They were meaty. Saliba's my guy. He's shown he's a 21-year-old last couple of games. Gabriel came. It would have been a perfect game to start Gabriel, really, because he likes the trenches. Tierney started well, faded out, and looked banduli defensively. Holding was just rubbish. And we've all got them in our teams for fans that don't support Arsenal that are listening. You know, players that aren't necessarily good, but they're your guys. I like Holding, but I like my football team, innit? We need a left back. A centre back. You know, Tomiyasu's probably got to do that or bring a next one in. We need better depth, man. We knew we weren't going to address everything in the summer. As I said, for me, priority is midfield, 2 8s and a 6 or something. As I've always said, I want a defender, preferably one that's more comfortable on the left than the right. I still would bring in a left and right back, regardless of what's happening there. I would like a winger or someone that can play up front as well as out wide. And I would like a striker that, if he has the similar profile to Jesus and Eddie Nketiah, he's either better than Jesus, which is probably impossible for us, or, he's significantly better than Eddie. But preferably, I wouldn't say necessarily a target man because our game is based on pressing and things. But I just think we need a 6 foot plus strong man that's just gonna, not that Jesus don't terrorize defenders, but a man that's just gonna terrorize defenders, man. Like, you saw what an experienced De Jong could do. Someone that could do that. You see what historically Giroud's on. Diego Costa's historically, Mitrovic. Tony. People that are just bastards, man. We need one of them. Scouts can go around and find someone, man. You're only as good as your worst player. Hopefully, Gabriel's just a knock, man. Aside from midfield, what do you want to see Eddie do in January? Any key sales you want to see aside from new signings? Get the contract sorted, man. Martinelli, Saliba, Saka, Charlie Patino, Ethan. Get these new deals sorted. If you can bring in a centre half, do it in it. But January is a techie time, really. So if you could, I'd say do that. Obviously, in fact, you said don't bring in signings. Sales is a bit of a mad one. Because as much as I feel you can make a case of, Eddie loaning, Nelson busting out, Marquinhos on loan, El Nene, we should always be open to offers, even though I want him to stay for at least the season and anything else, Nelson going on loan, if I haven't said that already. But we've already got poor squad depth in it. So we're gonna need to keep people, really. So if you could bring in a centre middle, at least 2, then I think, Marie ship out on loan, really. Man said Marie. Big up Marie and thoughts with his family. But yeah, if Marie goes permanently, great. Ship out Lukonga on loan. Go through the Tavares cheat. Go on loan a couple of years. A 6 month. If ideal, well, go on loan in Jan for the remainder of the season. Go get your confidence playing week in, week out. Go and make mistakes where some of these young players where it doesn't directly affect us. Then we see where you're at in pre-season and then maybe a loan. But right now, the way you're playing, bro, what Prem team is Lukonga playing for? If you're fighting for, even if you're Nottingham Forest, obviously you can get in these teams, but if you're Nottingham Forest and you're fighting for your life, can you trust Lukonga at this moment in time to try help you do the best you can to get 3 points? Probably not. He looks like a man that don't believe in himself. If you don't believe in yourself, how the hell can anyone else can? If I don't believe in my capabilities on YouTube, how the hell would you lot follow me and subscribe to me? It don't make sense. I like Lukonga. Now, we keep talking about this guy. It's jarring, but you've got to want it for yourself, man. I clearly think you want it. I clearly think you are trying to improve and all of them things. But to me, as an ignorant fan that doesn't see you training, let alone the extra work you're putting in all the other variables, I see a lot of chatting. If your feet were as good as your mouth, you might be decent. Big him up though, man. There ain't no one else to sell, really. I appreciate that. But look, a company robbed us, man. You just described Savage. Savage? That's a midfielder, though, man. Talking about a target, man, still. I have no play. If we signed him, I wouldn't do that. Someone mentioned Austin Tusty. He's doing quite well at Birmingham. Loan report out later today, people. He's doing quite well at Brum, but clearly someone didn't think he was levels if they hit you out on loan straight away. Reece, not hungry enough, said he was thinking about leaving, but then he walked through the Arsenal gates and felt the love he has for this club. They say in the movie, you need game time. I hear that. If I'm Arsenal, I'm making some peas off Tavares. Well, you know what? I'd probably, because he's probably under contract for a hot sec, I'd probably be reluctant right now, loan him out again. But if someone says, yo, we'll give you 18 million, we'll give you 20 odd, take the money, double up, sell on clause, keep it moving. For me, anyways. Which could be beneficial to us still. Mad beneficial to us. Let him, man. Skulls calling Anthony a clown. Like Ronaldo didn't do skills when he first came to the Prem. I mean, I can understand it from Paul Scholes, but I think it's jarring, isn't it? You know, Anthony mocked for the skills. Vinicius mocked for celebrating. You know, Richarlison, people getting on to him. Neymar gets booked for celebrating, called a show pony. People forget football is about expressions, especially for them Brazilian man, where dance it's a dancing thing. I'd say the biggest crime with Anthony is that you're doing it against shit players, and the fact that you didn't the pass. You can do them skills there, but the pass was dead, didn't it? I like the fact that he's in a day and age where footballers are robots. He's got individuality. That's what you want to see. But for Anthony, I don't agree with Scholes and the rest of him, but make sure you're able to do the basics in it. There's no point doing that wavy skill if the pass, which was dead, because Casemiro can't bring it under in it. So I understand it, but I like seeing it in it. We know this country has a problem with showboating, and anyone that does certain things, we've seen it. We're going to keep seeing it. Exactly. We watch football to be entertained. How can you not let a young Brazilian express himself? Yeah, it was for Fugazi because he gave the ball away, but show some personality. That's what I'm saying. Ten Hag should probably just slap him on the head and say, listen, find the pass. But I like the confidence. Arsenal don't do sell-on clauses or buyback clauses. Our business acumen is so questionable. Bit harsh because we do sell-on clauses. Trying to kill the Jogo Benito's spirit, man. 100%. But even Ronaldo, I can't lie, they used to get onto him for doing that as well. Ten Hag said, I don't have a problem with it as long as it's functional. Exactly. And it weren't functional. Like, you pick her out of man, they'll be getting onto him, but it'll be dead. What next game you going to, bro? I don't know at this moment, you know. I definitely am trying to get to the Emirates again. I'd probably say I don't anticipate being there before the end of the year, if I'm honest. Tried to get Chelsea tickets, didn't bang. I wanted to go Chelsea away, didn't bang. So I'd say that, to be fair, brutally honest with you, my dude. So yeah, man, don't forget to check out the other reviews I did in relation to the PSV game, people, yesterday. What's going on in the latest news? I mean, should we go? Well, there is no latest news, but should we go over Mikel Arteta's press conference? Probably shouldn't it? Every word from Mikel Arteta's post-PSV presser on the disappointment at how the team competed. Yes, it's the end of a long run. Today's the first defeat after a long period. It's time to reset, to analyze what happened. Congrats to PSV. They were the better team and they deserve to win. There's no question about that. We're nowhere near our level today, especially the way we competed. Exactly. They were on top of that. Last week, it was all ours, and today it was very different. When that happens against top teams, it's very difficult to win. Apart from any other aspects, today we were really poor. On if this result was coming, I don't know. We have periods where we've been excellent and periods where we've suffered. For sure, we haven't had the consistency for 95 minutes to maintain the level we want. Amen. That's the next challenge and the next aim for this team. Today, I think it was very different right from the beginning. Even though we had bad periods where we controlled the game, I didn't feel that we had the threat and the aggression that we've been playing at. Amen. That was worrying in the second half. The moment something went wrong, we just went down and we didn't really find moments to give us some hope to react and get something out the game. Fact. On how he's concerned by individual performances against PSV, it's my responsibility to adapt and get the best out of the players. These players have been exceptionally good. They've been performing at the level that probably no one expected. It's down to us and especially down to me to get the best out of them. That's it. When asked on how this affects the Zurich game, we never plan to have a day off in that fixture because we know how difficult it is to win in Europe. You just have to see the other groups and where everybody is. We're in a really good position. We've won 4 games. We have to finalize the job against Zurich at home in a week's time, and we'll prepare for that. Yesterday in training, Matt Turner had discomfort in his groin. He tried this morning, but he wasn't well, so Aaron Ramsdale had to play. On Turner's injury, I don't know. We'll have to assess him. It didn't look a serious injury. He's not here to talk about Xavi Simons, people. I'm not here to talk about players from the opposition. We've covered this already in relation to Arteta with Pablo Mari, so I hope he's all right. He then spoke on Dutch football. I've always been a big admirer. You have to look in football history and the players and the teams that have been examples for generations and the way they play. Johan Cruyff is one of my idols and had a big influence on the way I think about the game. Amen. So there you have it, people. Is this something new from him? He said, what did he say? I'm very disappointed. Well, sorry, we've seen this already. No, we haven't. I'm very disappointed. It's the end of a long run where we won a lot of games, and today is our first defeat, and we have to reset. Congrats to PSV. They were the better team. We were nowhere near our level, and we know that in Europe it's very difficult to win. We didn't get any control. We didn't get the ball in areas we wanted. We gave so many balls away, which allowed so many transitions, which is what they were looking for whenever they got the right structure, which, again, teams know that's a problem. So for the gaffer, you're going to have to fix that, and the players, because, again, go and look at all our Premier League games and the goals we conceded. The defensive transition is not where it needs to be. And we're going to have to learn the hard way, which allowed even the corner, which led to the goal, which was stupid, which allowed so many transitions, which is what they were looking for. They got the right structure. They were on top of a lot of things. Pardon me, that last week was different. It's really difficult to win every game in Europe. It is, but that weren't a difficult game to show up for. You start as you mean to go on. And, we did show at least some consistency. Started terribly, ended terribly. We're in a really good position. We're disappointed tonight, but there's no time to feel sorry for ourselves. Amen, Gaffer. We have to react. On Sunday, we have a really important game, and then we'll look at Zurich. We have to be much better than we were today. We knew what they were trying to do, and the way we executed certain actions, the way we competed, it wasn't good enough. Trill stuff. Big up Ruud van Nistelrooy as well. He said, I've seen the last games Arsenal have played, and I thought the way they played in the first half, they were tremendous. We couldn't get the ball off them. We had a lot of problems stopping their possession and their rotations between the players. They just never seemed to lose the ball. The second half, we changed a bit and put them under a bit more pressure. It was the things we did well. We scored the goals at the right time as well. So I think it was more of our credit than lack of form for Arsenal. Fair enough, man. Big up Ruud van Nistelrooy. Congrats on the win. PSV were doing everything that we didn't do yesterday. Big up Ramsdale, because I do like him. He's got a lot of mistakes in him. I do think we could upgrade on Ramsdale, but I persist with this guy. I like him. And I like how he wears his heart on his sleeve. Them Yorkshire man always do, really. Honest Don's the folk them up north. Big up you lot. He said there are a number of things. And to be fair, you was class Ramsdale, but before the goals went in, you could see the game. Ramsdale, obviously you don't know what he's saying, but you can tell him he's doing this. He's telling man, wake up. It's crazy, isn't it? But anyways, there were a number of things. But we are a good enough team not to be blaming things. Obviously, the pitch, etc. Big him up as well. Forget the pitch and all this nonsense, bro. We were rubbish. Keep it real. There was no point talking about that. We just didn't really compete too well off the ball. Credit to them as well. Obviously, they were good with how they set up. But it doesn't help when you come away from home, goalkeeper makes a mistake, 2-0 uphill. But I like it. You've taken responsibility. Uphill battle. And it's one we've got to go back from there. There are plenty of things we can take from this as a team and individually. And he went on to say, if we manage that, we go through top. It's what we set out at the start of the group to do. We would have loved to have done it tonight, but we have got one more game to seal top spot. That's what we will be going for at home in front of our fans, and hopefully we will put on a better display as tonight wasn't good enough. The traveling fans traveled here, and we didn't put in a shift for them. Really big him up. And he said, I don't really think it's a reality check. I just think we need to go back to what we were doing, our basics, better than what we've shown in the past 2 games. What has gone on the pitch, we can't change right now. So Sunday is full focus on the Premier League and getting back to winning ways, we hope. Facts, Ramsdale, Capitano. Apparently, Liverpool and Arsenal are preparing to fight for Xavi Simons. Like clockwork, we've been linked with him once again, people. I don't know for the credibility of this, people, but you must imagine he's a shoo-in, really, to get picked in some capacity for Louis van Gaal's Netherlands squad, people. I mean, I would have Xavi Simons shown he can play out wide as well as through the middle. Young potential, all of that. Don't think it's quite what we need, but I'm having it if it could be done, really. 10 goals in 19 games. VAR shagged him. I like what he brings to the table. Apparently, PSG do have a buy option for Simons, and apparently it's between 10 and 12 million. So, boy, that puts that one dead. Again, apparently Henderson has claimed he called Gabriel an effing idiot versus whatever. The FA's done whatever they're doing. I don't really care much for this, people. And we know that we're in talks or trying to scout Ivan Ndika. So, yeah, man, it's looking a bit of, you can draw whatever conclusions you want from such people. What else have we got here? If there's no end product from a skill, then that's a clowny move. I hear that. I think Ramsdale's getting a lot of unfair stick. He's added way more than Leno did to our defense to save plenty. You're bang on about Lokonga. Seems to lack belief. Think Eddie is the same. I hear that. I'll persist with Ramsdale, but he does bandooly things. But again, where we're at as a club, we're never going to sign a finished article. For me, with Ramsdale, positioning needs to improve. Anticipation, like even the goal that Gakpo got denied from. The defense is at 6s and 7s, but I think sometimes Ramsdale comes out too early and makes a decision for the striker, in which Gakpo at that time lifted it over and VAR saved us. I thought Saka was fouled, but boy, he's being done dirty, innit? When it became PSV have lost a fan 2 in a row, I knew then we were in for a long haul. Huh? Became apparent, oh. Well, it's obviously going to be football's a mental game. They're playing in front of their fans, and just how Ramsdale said we kind of disrespected the traveling fans going to Holland. PSV did that last week. Like their fans were man of the match. They were crazy. He shouldn't have missed that punch. Ramsdale shouldn't have come out. Really. We've Tierney and Cole has lost Luke de Jong. Ramsdale's come out. If you come out, you have to get something on that. He doesn't. And again, the build up to that penalty, to that corner. The whole team doing nonsense. We're split. They're splitting us on the defensive transition several times. Yeah, man, I don't care about the pitch. Ramsdale has that bozo gene, but I rate how genuine he comes across on a human level. Got to respect that. Tierney and Ramsdale were asleep during the De Jong goal. Yep. This is a perfect learning experience. All the frailties we've been getting away with have finally cost us 3 points. But in the long run, this game shouldn't matter. Time to pattern up now. Facts. Ramsdale is what 24, nowhere near his prime, so I still have faith in him to improve. Amen. I mean, Ramsdale's given me a lot more positive performances than terrible ones, innit? So you've got my support for everyone does dumb-ish. But as you get older, you have got to obviously improve and pattern up and things. But boy, I believe in Ramsdale. I like Ramsdale, but everyone on the pitch. As much as I like these footballers, if you could improve in every area, what fan wouldn't want them to? Even Saka, I love Saka, but if someone could bring in a prime Cristiano Ronaldo when he used to be a winger and he was on joining Arsenal and he wanted to play on the right-hand side, Saka, you got to hold that, innit? So we just need to keep going, man. Simple as that. Just have to keep going, but boy. Shall have to see you, won't we, people? We'll have to see, man. Hopefully we just keep going. Is there anything else in the world of football going on? Let's see. See what these papers. I mean, lifting the mood and link us with 100 million or 75 million pound war chest. Don't appear that there's anything in the world of Arsenal. Let's type Arsenal into Google and see what comes up. Don't forget 4:30. We're playing Football Manager, people. That will be on Twitch. Sunday, better yet, we're watching Nottingham Forest, Arsenal, Nottingham Forest, and tomorrow from 12:15, I'm gonna watch Leicester Man City with you lot, people. So yeah, here's what it is. Where is that tab now? Arsenal. Come on, link us with something, man. I didn't want to be reminded we lost to PSV yesterday. Shout out Arsenal's ladies because they won. And big up Braithwaite as well for PSV. He was obviously he's on loan from Everton. He had a good performance. Absolutely crazy. Nah, it doesn't seem like there's anything of note at all, really. Has our set piece coach gone on sabbatical? We looked pouring, but I don't think so. 84 people watching. Where's everyone today? I don't know, man. It's just got to be an L, man. No one wants to listen to me ramble, mate. It is what it is, man. To be fair, in the last 48 hours, engagement levels have been dead, man. But it happens, man. You have good games, bad games. Let's look at Matt Turner. He did good in the first leg against PSV and also did shit in other games. Made some smart ground saves and was good with his feet. Is he close to being number one? Nah. No. I mean, if Ramsdale looks shaky and Arteta wants to try him out, why not? But nah. I'll be surprised if that happens with Turner. Nah. Unless there's an injury, nah. Still think Ramsdale's up here, you're down there. Nah. And to be honest with you, as much as you're saying that, and I agree with you, how many shots did he really face against PSV? He done the time wasting thing when he needed to, but how many shots did he face in the home leg on target? 4 shots in total, 1 on target. Do you think Kane's goals should have counted? It's a bit ridiculous, but that is disallowed. But it's Spurs, in it, so I didn't see it. I can't comment on it. I'll have to speak to someone who saw it, man. Well, I already saw that. I do have it, but I don't know my team, man. And I'd have to. I can't remember my password. I need to go and get my booklet with my FPL password, so I can't do that. Turner's distribution isn't there to be our number one. Neither do I. DG, who would reincarnate from the Invincible season to get us the title? Well, if you're asking, I don't know what that question means, but if you're asking me what players I would like in this team from the Invincibles, well, based on how we're defending, so Campbell would be good. Lauren would be great. Thierry Henry, Patrick Vieira, Dennis Bergkamp, Perez. It goes without saying. It all goes without, these man go without saying. So yeah, them. Definitely Henry and Vieira. I rate Ramsdale. I know pens are hard, but I noticed his penalties are extremely poor. I hear that. For me, it's just about Ramsdale just getting a bit better at anticipation, really. Like, can you, sometimes I think he's so quick to come off his line. He's made the decision up for how someone's going to finish. So just improving that, your anticipation. Sometimes I think like there'll be goals, right, where we've done terrible. Like the midfield is sleeping, defense is smoking crack. We're just doing mad things. And then, as I always say, Ramsdale's the last line of defense, but it might be fired into his near post. And I always think, could you have done a bit better there? So yeah, man. I like Ramsdale, man. Bro, Vieira would be lit for us, man. He would thought Lokonga would be better if we had Vieira because he'll beat him up in training. You need to man up. I don't even like using that term. Spurs were all for VAR when it allowed them the Champions League ball, but screamed it's killing football at the other end. I mean, listen, I didn't see it, so I can't comment on it. But what I will say is the refs and the linesmen, they're all there to do what they're doing, innit? Yeah, hopefully it comes with age. I think Ramsdale's almost like an Arsenal fan, excited watching the game. Just calm down a bit. He wears his heart on his sleeve. I got time for him. I got time for all of these players. There's probably only 2 players, one on loan, that I haven't got time for, connected to Arsenal Football Club. And obviously, as a keeper, you make decisions. Ramsdale's shown he's a good shot stopper, but you kind of make decisions for your attacker. When you've come out early and you sped off your line, Gakpo's gonna lift it over you. But these are things that we didn't listen. If he was a quality, he's a good keeper. But if he was a quality keeper, he wouldn't be here. He's got to learn. He's got a good like them all. They've got a good foundation, and hopefully we take them to where they need to go. But right now, he's not that. DJ already practicing his lines for FM. Football Manager's not going to be nice today, is it? My Football Manager team crumbled, man. We crumbled. We have crumbled top 4. And then they might unlock Lokonga. But that being said, we haven't seen Lokonga with part. But it's at that stage where he's got to unlock himself, man. He's got to unlock himself, bro. He's got to unlock himself now. Like, you've got, as I said, there's a lot he can improve on tactically and technically. But for me, the minute he starts showing some confidence, he could be a lot better. Oh, what's this? Unset people. What's this? It's probably Capman. This is Capman. Well, he's probably just saying this brother's probably just stating the obvious here, people. But allegedly, load up on multiple reinforcement. Agent predicts busy January for Spurs and Arsenal. Spurs and Arsenal are likely to use the January transfer window as a way to reinforce their squads. Wow, you reckon? Wow. That's the view of Rob Segal, who thinks both of them will splash the cash. What have you specifically said, man? I mean, that's what he said about Conte. Conte has been adamant that it's going to take him 2 or 3 transfer windows to build the team he wants. So that is cloak and dagger statement, which basically means, Daniel Levy, you've got to give me more. So I do expect them to try to do some things in Jan. Okay, wow. Pardon me. In terms of positions, they may view as a weakness. I think Conte will see it as a complete picture and therefore want to load up on multiple reinforcements. The same can be into signings to build the team's quality and depth. I mean, we could have said that. Bavs tweeted yesterday, playing in a 6 in the system is the hardest role. Like you said before, as well as being a 6 is long for man because we play essentially single pivot. I hear it, but that's no excuse, bro. Every position is hard. Every position. Xhaka's role is hard as well. He's got to go up and do the box-to-box thing. If he doesn't get back, there's gaps. It's a cop-out, bro. Like, it's coping mechanism. Big up, Babs. I'm not getting at him, but it's coping mechanisms, bro. It's BS, bro. It's bullshit. Like, I'm sorry, but that's bullshit. Like, the essence is true, but every bloody position, if the fullbacks are not remained inverted, if Odegaard doesn't do certain things, if Saka doesn't do certain things, if Jesus doesn't press from the front, really, you could argue being the bloody striker is the hardest because you don't get much chances created and you have to drop down and get punched in, get punches and knocks and bruises. You know, the keeper has to distribute the ball. Again, the fullbacks have to be centre mids and to go out wide. So I think it's BS, really. They're all equally as hard. If one single fragment of the system fails, then it doesn't bang. It sounds good in essence. It sounds smart. And like I said, big up Babs, but it's BS. They're all fairly hard. Centre backs as well. You've got to take up certain positions on the pitch as well. You've got to play a high line as well and be on top of that, playing a high line and trying to be focused defensively. You know, one mistake, you're in a foot race, like we've seen. They're all difficult, man. I envy Napoli's business as well. The problem we now have is in the final third, we're not taking our chances. If it's still a grey area to our transition, then I'm optimistic we'll get there, hopefully after the World Cup. Spurs and Arsenal spend big, man, clickbait getting worse. He didn't even try. Levy ain't planning ish. Him and the owner have been planning to sell the club for time. We only spent in the summer because we knew Conte and the fans would flame him if he didn't. I hope you lot don't sell to Saudis, man, or someone, because then it's peak. Spurs might actually win the league title. Can't lie, De Gea has been left out of Spain's 55-man provisional World Cup squad that includes 5 goalkeepers. Bro. Apparently, Anthony said, we are known for our art and I won't stop doing what got me where I am. Amen. Barcelona will make a formal bid for Endrick, so they're looking to tap the 16-year-old. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. So yeah, man. With that being said, people, we've been here for 90 minutes. I'll see you all again at 4:30 to play Football Manager. Don't forget, Sunday we're watching Arsenal Nottingham Forest. Set your reminders from now because that is at 1 p.m. UK time. Kickoff is at 2 p.m. Tomorrow from 12:15 UK time, I'll be doing the 12:30 kickoff between Leicester and Man City. As usual, big up yourselves for your talking points, your questions, and etc. Without you lot, the platform would be dead, people. Hope you lot having a great Friday off the back of a fantastic week. Stay blessed, stay safe, and I'll catch you in a bit.
There's always just that active red flag defending. I think it's like. There's always just that active red flag defending. I think it's like.
Tongue